Welcome to FastModel Friday. FastModel Friday is going to be a breakdown primarily of the big Monday games. If there's any sets throughout the week that I like, that I think that are very important, that I really think I should highlight, or if it's a very popular set on FastModel. I've partnered with FastModel, and they're a great company, and they're allowed me to do a lot of things through basketball, and being able to utilize them as a tool has been very helpful in my breakdowns and my building my playbook. If you guys want to find out more information, hit them up on Twitter at FastModel, or hit me up on Twitter at HalfCourtHoops, and I'll tell you all about it. We're going to look at Duke versus Syracuse and Iowa State versus Oklahoma. The first game we're going to look at is Duke versus Syracuse. The Duke-Syracuse game started off really boring, in my opinion. Didn't really get into it. Then picked up pretty well in the second half. Duke built up a little bit of a lead. I think they're up by 8 at one point, or 6 at one point, and then Syracuse went on an 8-0 run to go up 2. Duke called timeout, and then it was back and forth after that. The biggest problem that Duke had really was they gave up some transition threes, and they couldn't contain just a basic high pick and roll from Syracuse. And we'll get into the details of that now. So when I was watching the game, my biggest thing with Duke attacking Syracuse's 2-3 zone, which they run for 30 years now, is they didn't get the ball inside nearly enough, in my opinion. That doesn't mean they need to try to score inside, but I just mean like post touches. So I noticed that, and I did a little bit of charting, and I figured out that on Duke's 20 made field goals, so that's including 3-pointers, 2s and 3-pointers, just a basket made. The ball touched the post 12 times out of those 20 makes. On their 43 missed field goals, the ball touched the post only 7 times. That really stood out to me, because it didn't mean they had to try to score inside. It just mean they had to get a post touch, either at the high post or in the low post. Marshall Plumlee. I know they're missing Emil Jefferson, and Brandon Ingram isn't that great of a playmaker. I still think they could have had a better effort of getting the ball into the high post and then kick it back out. That's not to say that they didn't get dribble penetration. That's not to say they didn't drive and kick and create open shots that they just missed. But I feel like if you had success scoring, 12 out of 20 times with a post touch that you scored, I feel like that's what you want to keep going to and try to exploit more in that zone. Because if you look at the Syracuse zone, the way they extend it out is, they extend their wings on the baseline pretty high. So it's almost like a 4-1 at times, especially with teams like Duke who like to play, 4 out. The problem I had with Duke aligning 4 out was the way Duke aligned outside the 4 out, with Brandon Ingram playing as a stretch forward, basically, it just matched up and gave Syracuse an easy opportunity to just match 4-on-4, and didn't really take advantage of them using that length. So that was my issue with Duke attacking the zone. Syracuse beat Duke by running some basic high pick and roll stuff late. The way they run their pick and roll set is they have a big up high setting a ball screen, guards on the wings, and a big down low and kind of in the short corner, or running the baseline a little bit. And they just set a high ball screen, and sometimes the big roll and replaces, but majority of the time it's just a high ball screen. Duke likes to ice it a little bit, but if you can beat the first ice opportunity and turn the screen back inside the other way, the roll man was wide open, or the attack off the dribble was wide open every time. So good game. I really liked watching the kind of the chess match between. I wish Duke would have done a little bit better attack in the zone, more creativity. But that's Duke's style, is they play the way they play. Looking at the difference between the Syracuse-Duke game and the Oklahoma-Iowa State game, it was like two different worlds of basketball. And that's because Oklahoma and Iowa State really play an NBA style or brand of basketball, with spacing, creativity, letting players who can take advantage of isolation situations and kind of seeking mismatches and being able to utilize that mismatch for your team's favor. And we'll look at some of the opportunities that they came across in the game. Both teams like to run out in transition. The biggest difference you see is where they run in transition compared to other teams who do running. A lot of teams run rim run and run wide. Oklahoma and Iowa State really run to the 3-point line and look to get transition threes, and they look to get early scores and space the floor early in the offense. And then when they get in their half-court sets, that's when they look for the mismatches or the pick and roll situations. They can pick apart different teams and things like that. You can see that in the very beginning of the game where Oklahoma ran in isolation for Buddy Hield off an Iverson screen, and then and to begin the game, George Niang had an isolation off Iowa State's weave. So you can see they look to go to their go-to players whenever they can, especially in isolation situations. This game was a lot of fun to watch. It was back and forth. Iowa State was up late by, I think, 6 points, and then Buddy Hield decided he was going to score 11 straight points and really keep Oklahoma in it and give them the lead late. And they ran a specific set that we're going to look at. It's called Angle. I call it that because it's just basically a high ball screen or an angle ball screen. You can see the bench here, motioning for angle. That's usually the universal sign of an angle ball screen. And all it is just a couple of dribble handoffs, and then a big sprints out to kind of similar to a wing ball screen, but it's really just an angle ball screen in that location. And what they did was they knew Jameel McKay, his leg was bothering him during the game. I'm not sure why, but his leg was bothering him, and they knew that. So they pinpointed him and wanted to put him in pick and roll defense and be able to try to attack him late, and it worked because Buddy Hield is first off a ridiculous player who makes some incredible shots, and also you attack the weakness on defense, and that's what Oklahoma did. Both these teams like to have space and creativity in their offense, and you can see that just in every single play, 4 out, 3 out, but great spacing. You can see Iowa State more than Oklahoma was kind of attacking the mismatches. You can see here you get a switch and get Spangler out on a 3 and just putting 4 and 5 in a pick and roll situation where they both have to defend the pick and roll, which is not easy for any team, especially at a high level of basketball. What I really want to show all coaches and fans out there is the great end of game action that Steve Prohm had, where he had a player take the ball out and then had another player sprint to the baseline, and you can make a baseline to baseline pass. That is a legal pass in basketball. You can pass it right on the baseline, and then you can have the other player step in and he's wide open, or in this case they end up getting a technical foul out of it because you can't reach across and you can't make contact with a player or the ball, and that's a technical foul. And that was so smart that every coach should add to their end of game playbook. So that was a fantastic job by Steve Prohm, and just a great overall game. And I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Look forward to doing some more and coming back again for Fast Model Friday. Thanks.
That time it is the double team on Okafor that time. Somebody's got to rotate over to him. That was double teaming Okafor off the dribble.
To answer, an open Matthews, bullseye.
At Iowa State, he was known as the mayor. He was so popular a name. I think he was, if he ran for mayor, he'd win. Cody Zeller!
Al Jefferson, Cody Zeller, and Jeremy Lamb, the 5 on the floor. Zeller got it. He also believes that Kevin Garnett will not play as well.
The stand-up runaway decency in the West. Are you alive?
for three. Boy, is he. That stretch concludes tomorrow night in San Antonio. Muskie nails a three. 56-53. Elbow jumper. Al Horford silences.
But he's playing pretty well right now.
At this point of his career, as Al laces up.
Because he has somebody 6'11", just throw it in that direction, he's going to gather it and score.
Millsap floats it in.